Students, this is 11th class biology, chapter 13, photosynthesis in higher plants, and this is lecture number 4 of this chapter. Today we will discuss about dark reaction of photosynthesis and C4 pathway. So let's start. Dark reaction is also called biosynthetic phase because carbohydrates are formed in this phase. And in this phase there is use of ATP and NADPH which are formed during the light reaction. Products of light reaction are ATP and NADPH and oxygen that we obtain from the photolysis of water. During the light reaction we also get ATP and NADPH. Now during the dark reaction there is use of ATP and NADPH to drive the processes for the synthesis of food, means for the synthesis of carbohydrates, or you can say glucose. So glucose is formed during the photosynthesis, so that is formed in dark reaction actually. And how it is formed? By the use of ATP and NADPH. Now this phase, means dark phase, does not directly depend on the light but is dependent on the products of light reaction. Okay, products of light reaction means ATP and NADPH. It can be verified as follows. Immediately after light becomes unavailable, the biosynthetic process continues for some time and then stops. Okay, because we are saying it is not directly dependent on light. So even the light is not there, biosynthetic process is going on, but for some time, because after that there will be deficiency of ATP and NADPH also. Okay, these products of the light reaction will also get finished. So ultimately this dark phase is also dependent on the product of light reaction. So for some time biosynthetic process can continue in the absence of light, and after that it will also stop, right? So if light is available, the synthesis starts again. Now in dark reaction or biosynthetic phase, carbon dioxide combine with water to form sugars, that is CH2ON. That is you can say the glucose is formed here, okay, by combination of water and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide assimilation during photosynthesis is two types. So in two types of plants, you can say carbon dioxide assimilation occurs in two different ways. So these are two types of CO2 assimilation, you can say. So it can be assimilated by C3 pathway or by C4 pathway. Okay, in C3 pathway, first product of CO2 fixation. CO2 means the plants getting this CO2 from the atmosphere, okay, and they need to fix that CO2 to form carbohydrates, right? So it is not fixed in a single step, it is fixed in multiple steps. So the first product of CO2 fixation in case of C3 pathway is C3 organic acid. C3 organic acid means the organic acid having 3 carbons. Okay, so this is 3-phosphoglyceric acid here, PGA. Okay, 3-phosphoglyceric acid is formed here as the first product of carbon dioxide fixation. Melvin Calvin was a scientist who discovered this using carbon-14. Carbon-14 is the isotope of 14. Radio isotope of carbon was used by Melvin Calvin to show that. And in case of algal photosynthesis, he proved it, that the first carbon fixation product is 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Okay, in C4 pathway, the first stable product is oxaloacetic acid, and this oxaloacetic acid is a 4-carbon compound. It is a 4-carbon acid. Okay, so this is the difference. In case of C3 pathway, a 3-carbon compound is formed as the first stable product, while in case of C4 pathway, 4-carbon compound is formed as the first stable product after the carbon dioxide fixation. Right, now we will discuss about it, that how this PGA is formed here in C3 pathway. So we will discuss about Melvin Calvin cycle also, that how this conversion of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates occur, right? So this is Melvin-Calvin cycle. Simply, you can say this is Calvin cycle. This is also called C3 pathway. Uh, why it is called C3 pathway? Because the first stable product is 3 carbon compound. That's why this is C3 pathway. Okay. And because it was discovered by Melvin-Calvin, that's why its name is also called Calvin cycle. So this cycle occurs in all photosynthetic plants, C3 or C4 pathways. So there are two types of plants, C3 plants and C4 plants. So this C3 pathway occur in C3 plants as well as in C4 plants. Okay, in C4 plants there is an additional pathway, that is C4 pathway. That's why their name is C4 plants. But this C3 pathway occur in those plants also. Now this C3 pathway has 3 stages: carboxylation, reduction and regeneration. So let's start with the first step of this cycle. First step is carboxylation of RUBP. RUBP is for ribulose bisphosphate, and this ribulose bisphosphate is a 5 carbon ketose sugar. Okay, there are 5 carbons in this sugar. This is ketose sugar. And this ribulose bisphosphate is the primary acceptor of carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide that plants are absorbing from the atmosphere. This carbon dioxide is first accepted by ribulose bisphosphate. Okay, and it is the most crucial step, means this carboxylation. Carboxylation means addition of carbon. Okay, so it is the most crucial step. CO2 is fixed by RUBP to 2 molecules of 3-PGA. Okay, so RUBP is accepting the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and then it is making 2 molecules of 3-PGA in the presence of enzyme RUBP carboxylase. Okay, so here this enzyme works. This enzyme works to convert the RUBP into PGA. Okay, now you can see here, what is carboxylation? Addition of carbon. This RUBP is a 5 carbon compound and 1 molecule of carbon is fixed here. Okay, so 1 carbon from this carbon dioxide and 5 carbon here. Means in the product, total 6 carbons are formed, right? That's why 2 molecules of PGA are formed here, because in PGA there are 3 carbons. Okay, and if 2 molecules of PGA will be formed, total 6 carbons will be there, right? So these 2 molecules of PGA are formed from 1 molecule of RUBP plus CO2 with the help of enzyme RUBP carboxylase. Since this enzyme also has an oxygenation activity. Oxygenation activity means it can also combine with oxygen. Okay, and it is also called RUBP carboxylase oxygenase enzyme. So this enzyme, because it is having oxygenation property also, that's why the complete name for this enzyme is RUBP carboxylase oxygenase, because it has the capacity to bind with carbon dioxide as well as with oxygen. So it is carboxylase oxygenase enzyme, right? In short, we can say Rubisco, RUBP, okay, and CO is for the carbon and carboxylase and oxygenase. So this name is Rubisco. So Rubisco is the most abundant enzyme in the world. In the plants, it is found in every plant, you can say. So it is the most abundant enzyme. Now you can see the carboxylation step here. So in the starting we have this RUBP as 5 carbon compound. Okay, and this carbon dioxide is taken from atmosphere. So this is the first acceptor of carbon dioxide. But there's all these things you need to learn, that what is the first acceptor of carbon here. Okay, so this is RUBP. This RUBP is accepting the carbon dioxide, and along with water there will be the carboxylation, fixation of the carbon. Okay, and the first product that is formed after the fixation of carbon is PGA. that is phosphoglyceric acid, right? Now, next step will be reduction. So let's do about reduction. It is a series of reactions leading to the glucose formation. Okay, there will be many reactions. So it is a series of reactions which lead to the formation of glucose from PGA, right? Here 2 ATP molecules for phosphorylation and 2 NADPH for reduction per carbon dioxide molecule are used. Okay, so for one carbon dioxide molecule, 2 ATP molecules and 2 NADPH molecules are used. Here 2 ATP molecules for phosphorylation means here the ATP production, phosphate is released here. Okay, so these are used here for the one carbon dioxide molecule fixation to form the carbohydrate. So fixation of 6 carbon dioxide molecules and 6 turns of the cycle are needed to remove one glucose molecule from the pathway. You know, in the glucose C6H12O6 means 6 carbons are present. Okay, and here for the reduction of one carbon dioxide molecule, for the fixation of one carbon dioxide molecule, we need 2 ATP molecule and 2 NADPH molecule, and in one cycle only one carbon dioxide molecule is fixed. That's why we need 6 turns of the cycles, okay, for the fixation of 6 carbon dioxide molecules, because in the glucose we have 6 carbon C6, okay, so we need 6 carbons. That's why we need 6 turns of the cycle, and for the 6 turns of the cycle you can see here we will need 12 molecules of ATP and 12 molecules of NADPH, right? Now next step is regeneration of RUBP, and this regeneration of RBP is very crucial for the continuation of the cycle. It requires 1 ATP for phosphorylation to form RUBP. Okay, here we need to regenerate RUBP because again and again it is needed to accept the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So we need to regenerate it, and for the regeneration step 1 ATP molecule is required here. Hence for every carbon dioxide molecule 3 ATP molecules and 2 NADPH are required. Okay, 2 ATP molecule we discussed in that step, in reduction step. Okay, and one more ATP is required here in this regeneration step. So total we can say 3 ATP molecules are required for one cycle, and 2 NADPH which are required during the reduction step, in the previous step. Okay, so this much energy we need for a Kelvin cycle. It is probably to meet this difference in number of ATP and NADPH used in the dark reaction that the cyclic phosphorylation takes place. To make one glucose molecule, 6 turns of cycle are needed, because in one glucose molecule 6 carbons are present, and that's why 6 turns of cycle are needed to make one glucose molecule. So this is the complete Kelvin cycle or C3 pathway. If we start from here, so first of all there will be carboxylation where RUBP combined with carbon dioxide in water, and 2 molecules of 3-PGA are formed here. Then there will be a series of reactions, okay, that is called reduction of PGA to form sugar or carbohydrate, you can say. This carbohydrate is basically triose phosphate. Okay, so sucrose, starch, these are formed by the reduction of PGA here with the help of multiple steps. Okay, and here for the reduction step we need ATP and NADPH also. How many ATPs you need here? 2 ATPs, okay, 2 molecules of ATPs and 2 molecules of NADPH are required here. And when these provide energy here for this step, then ATP will convert into ADP and NADPH converts into NADP+, right? After this step, after the formation of carbohydrates, we also need to regenerate our RUBP so that it can accept more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So this regeneration, this third step, regeneration, this is also very important. Okay, and in this step what is happening, some of the triose phosphate is converting into RUBP again. Okay, there is regeneration of RUBP, and there is need of energy for the regeneration of this RUBP. Okay, and this energy we get from the ATP. So one molecule of ATP is used here. So total you can see here 2 ATP molecules are utilized here and 1 ATP molecule is utilized here. Now let's discuss that what does go in and what come out of the Calvin cycle, right? So if we talk about the Calvin cycle, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide goes inside the Calvin cycle in 6 turns, and if we are talking about the 6 turns of the cycle, then in 6 turns 18 ATP molecules are utilized, because in one turn 3 ATP molecules are required, and in 6 turns there will be utilization of 18 ATP molecules, right? And in one turn, you know, 2 NADPH molecule are required at the reduction step. That's why for the 6 turns there will be requirement of 12 NADPH. Okay, so carbon dioxide, ATP, NADPH, these are utilized during the Calvin cycle. And what we get? 1 glucose molecule we get, and due to utilization of this ATP we will get 18 ADP, which can again form the ATP molecule. Okay, so 18 ADP from the 18 ATP and 12 NADP plus. Okay, so this is about the Calvin cycle. Now based on today's topics, you need to do NCERT question number 4 and explain Calvin cycle. Now let's discuss the homework solution of previous lecture. So this is difference between cyclic phosphorylation and non-cyclic phosphorylation. So cyclic photophosphorylation occurs in photosystem 1, while non-cyclic photophosphorylation occurs in both photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. In cyclic photophosphorylation only ATP is produced, while in non-cyclic photophosphorylation and ATP and NADPH both are formed. Okay. In case of cyclic photophosphorylation, there is no photolysis of water because you know there is a cyclic pathway. Electrons comes back to the photosystem. Okay, so there is no requirement of electron source from the outside. So there is no photolysis of water. Hence, oxygen is not produced here in case of cyclic photophosphorylation. But in case of non-cyclic photophosphorylation, photolysis of water occurs. Hence, oxygen is produced. Okay. In case of cyclic photophosphorylation, electrons move in a closed circle, while in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, electrons do not move in a closed circle. Electrons excited from the photosystem 2 never comes back to the photosystem 2. So this is non-cyclic.